Are you one of those looking for a sponsorship to apply for your 482, 407, or 186 visa? Or are you one of those who is actually holding or have held this visa in the past? This video is for you. Hi, this is Bipul from Professional Visa and Education Services. I'm here with a little bit different video, which has been one of the common questions these days that we've been getting to be asked every single day. And there seems to be a quite of misunderstanding between the subclasses of the visas and while you're holding that particular visa. So I'll just take you from the very beginning of the 407 visa, which is often known as a training visa. And quite often we get these questions where everyone sort of thinks that's the independent visa that you're going to apply on your own. And this is one of the misunderstanding, or not having information out there is probably sort of confusing you. So 407 visa, training visa, in other words, is one of those visa where you do need a sponsor in a way that there is an employer or someone who is going to provide you with a training within that particular subclass of the visa. Recent days, we got this question, oh, hey, my visa is about to just run out. Why don't I just apply the 407 visa? Or someone over the phone told me training visas. First thing first, we need to understand is from 11th of March 2026, there has been a changes in the legislation. Now, what has happened and what it was before? So back in days, you could lodge the nomination visa both together. So which means you will get the bridging visa straight in, and then obviously you wait for the decision of your visa. But then now what has changed is you won't be able to lodge the visa until the nomination has been approved. And why government did that is, and I quote, that the changes to support the government's commitment to reduce the permanent temporariness. So what that means is government sort of found out that people were more vulnerable under this visa and there were much more exploitation. And that's where they kind of thought this will close that loophole, and which indeed it has, which means now you get your nomination approved first. So that kind of assures that, okay, it's the right business, right sponsor, right person who is going to provide you with the training, and then you go ahead and lodge your visa. So, but then having said that, both aspects needs to be met from the point of a sponsor as well from the point of person who is getting the visa approved. In other words, employee or the visa applicant. So which means don't be under the impression that, hey, I've got a sponsor who's actually got a nomination approved under my name, but then I don't meet the requirement. Well, that's not going to work either. So which means you have to assess both aspects before you go ahead and lodge your visa application. So I hope this is much more clearer. Training visa is not your independent visa. You do need a sponsor. Now, after 11th of March 2026, the nomination has to be approved first before you go ahead and lodge your visa application. Now, moving forward with the 482, firstly, I would just like to begin with those ones who is actually holding this particular visa at the moment. Say, you started the job, you got the visa, and now that, your company is about to, or in a simple words, let's put it this way, the owner sold the company. Now, what happens to me? Do I just get my visa cancelled, or, should I just have to look for a new sponsor? Or should I work with a new owner, or how does that work? So first thing first, you need to understand is there is now you get 180 days out of 365-day limit work in practice. So which means 180-day clock starts when your employment with a sponsoring business actually ceases. This is usually the date in your termination letter or the date your resignation is accepted, rather than the day your workplace first hinted at a restructure. Every calendar day where you are not employed by your approved sponsor counts towards the current stretch up to 180 days and towards the overall 365-day cap for your visa period. Now, again, this is another question that we get. Okay, yep, the business is sold. We don't know who the new owner is. Now I'm on a 482 visa. I don't know, I have to make my living, I have to, pay my bills and everything. So what happens? Can I just, go ahead and work for someone else, or would I be under the visa breach, or, should I be concerned about the part of my visa? These are the questions. So here is your answer. The other major shift is what you can do during the safety net window period. As long as you stay within your 180-day period, you can work for other employers in Australia, take on casual part-time or contract roles, work in the occupations outside your nominated role. Now, what that means is, for example, say you were sponsored as a cook. Now, you got a job, say, somewhere in a retail store or whatsoever, and you just want to work, you essentially can work for other employers. But let alone, don't forget, you do only get that 180 days to go back and find a new sponsor and get the new nomination approved under the same occupation that was the visa being granted for. So in other words, you have to file for the same nomination application from different other sponsors, or even, as I gave an example before, the new owner purchases the new business and he still wants to, sponsor you. I'm quite sure in the case where the ABN number gets changed, which is a different business. Now, in that sense, that means the company has to file for a new nomination, and that needs to be within 180 days, so that you're not in a breach of your visa condition. And this is where quite often things gets harder, because we kind of think, yep, I've been told I can work in other jobs, but that does not negate the fact that you should still protect your visa, which means getting the new nomination approved and having that safety net layer of your nomination before the conditions are breached. So this is for those ones who is currently holding a 482 visa. You should reflect back on your contract. The contract that was initially supplied back to the department when the application was filed. In a way, your hours of work, your TISMA salaries, and these are all the factors that needs to be there from the day the visa has been granted. So which is where quite often what happens is you've been told the TISMA salary is 73,000 or 75,000, and the next thing is your visa is granted and you still on that basic pay, or less pay than what you told the department. So you need to make sure these are all factored in and these are all aligned, and this is one of the due diligence that the employer needs to keep checking on it each and every now and then, to ensure that they have not breached their part as a sponsor as well. And from a applicant or employee perspective, you should always be in certainty that if you were to leave a job, you would need to make sure your first priority becomes finding a new sponsor and getting that aligned within 180 days period. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope to come up with more updates and more news and more scenarios based upon whatever the inquiries we get, so that we can bring it out to you in the form of videos in social media, so that it's quite handy for you to get that quick hand information. Until then, if you need any other assistance, or if you have any queries, or any confusions that needs to be clarified, you can always hop into our website and book in for a first free half-an-hour consultation, or call our landline 029 007 4409, and one of our team member will certainly help you out. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, goodbye. Thank you.